Salutations, my name is Summer and this is Sterling Reads, and I have little Prim who's been walking back and forth on my lap. I don't know if she'll come back or go or whatever. Anyway, I want to talk about some things that I finished. I'm getting ready for bed, but the things I finished is piling up quite quickly this week, which is surprising. But yeah, I've really been enjoying what I've read, and I'm loving what I'm reading right this minute. So also, I've been loving what I've been watching. I don't know if you guys have watched Grantchester, but I plan on reading the first of the series, which I forget what it's called. I'll let you guys know when I start it. But I've been watching Grantchester, and this is the 9th season. And you know, we start out the series with Sydney. Absolutely love. Will was okay. I mean, he grew on me. And then now we have Alfie. And you know, Jordy has always been a favorite, so it's been okay if the Vickers come and go. Anyway, so yeah, been loving that. Who's behind me? I think Finney's back there. Okay, so some things that I finished. Now, there's spoilers for this. While I'm holding this, those of you who have not read The Magic Mountain by Thomas Mann, you can just like skip ahead. For those of you who have read this, I just have some thoughts on the silly. I don't know. This is not a silly book at all. So this is a long book. It took me many years to read because I just kept sitting it aside, and it was fine because Hans was where he was in the same place on that picnic bench, contemplating life on top of the mountain. But anyway, I went back. I finished the last, I think it was 300 pages I had to read, and I finished them. And this book is so complicated. Not that the writing is complicated or anything like that, but just trying to figure it out. I'm sure there's a lot of things. Sorry, May is cleaning herself, and so the tree is moving around. But anyway, I'm sure there's a lot of things that I did not catch, that I did not get from this book. It is a lot of sitting around, philosophizing about every single thing in the world. It's about, you know, religion, politics, what you're eating. Every little thing could be an argument, a conversation. So anyway, yeah, so it's like I liked it and I didn't like it. So I don't really know. I feel like this might be a book that just has to marinate for a while, you know, because I'm not sure if I got it. And here's the thing, I loved our character, Sedabrini. Also his cousin. I really loved his cousin, who I always called Joaquin. I know that's not his name. I just don't know how to pronounce it. But his cousin, so he went up there in the first place to visit his cousin who was ill. And after a year, his cousin was like, I want out of here. I want to go back into service. I want a life. I do not want to stay up on this mountain forever. And Hans seems just to be completely fine with staying up there forever. So his cousin left. He went back down into service, and his cousin was told he's not okay. But Hans was told, hey, you're okay, you can go home. What does Hans do? He stays up on this mountain. So correct me if you're wrong, if you have any thoughts about this, that I'm seeing this incorrectly. But yeah, Hans stays. So he has this little like romance with this lady. She leaves, she comes back married. But it wasn't even a romance. Like, that's even hard to describe. Like, she reminded him of a boy that he liked in school, but I don't know if he romantically liked him, or if he just like infatuated. Because, you know, you could be infatuated with somebody or find somebody fascinating and not be romantically. May, could you please? She just like really cleaning herself, and just, I felt like it was really wobbling. Okay, I gotta talk. This is another spoiler. Like, I gotta talk about Sedabrini. He's my favorite character. And, Hans and him, Hans, I think, really disliked him at first, and then he became somebody very important to him. But what is that whole duel thing? There's a duel on top of the mountain with guns. And of course, Sedabrini, he points his gun up in the air, and this is a huge spoiler. Even though it's like these people, whatever, he points his gun up in the air and he shoots, right? He doesn't want to kill this guy, clearly. The other guy goes and takes his gun, and he was like, you shot in the air. You weren't even shooting at me. And Sedabrini makes a great comment. Like, he says something which I probably don't even have. I know I marked it, but it doesn't mean I'll be able to find it. Oh, I have it exactly. Okay. So he says, you fired in the air. Nafat, I don't know if that's how you pronounce this. I don't know. Nafta said collectedly to Sedabrini, letting his own weapon sink. Sedabrini answered, I fired where it pleased me to fire. Which I love that. And then he said, you will have to fire again. And Sedabrini says, I have no such intention. It is your turn. And the guy goes and shoots himself in the head and kills himself. That is like the biggest, to me, like that is like the biggest thing that happens in this book. After 7 years, Hans does finally leave, and there's a war going on, so he goes to fight in the war. It's like, what? Why didn't he do this in the beginning when he was like, when his cousin left? Why didn't he he like stayed up there with his cousin while his cousin was there? Why didn't he? Okay, I'm done with the Magic Mountain. I would love to hear your thoughts about it. I'm gonna go back. I know Matthew at Mayberry Book Club. I'm not sure if Greg went into did a review. Oh, there's my Roger. If he did a review for it, because if I hadn't finished it, of course, I just finished it. If someone had a review, I wouldn't watch it. But now I'm wanting to go back and I'm going to check to see if they reviewed it, because I do want to watch their videos to hear what they have to say about it. And if I mention somebody, I'll link them down below. So a book that I DNF'd, and you guys can't see, but like Prim is like sitting right here perfectly. And Mayfair is, yes, still cleaning herself. Anyway, so The Trap by Tabitha King, I DNF'd it. I got over halfway. And you know what? I didn't like the characters. I didn't care I felt like something really bad was going to happen. And I read, I don't know, I think I got to like 170. But I just didn't care, and I didn't like the characters enough. And I never ever do this. I actually skipped to the end, and I looked to like what was, because I felt like something really bad was going to happen. I didn't know if I'd be able to handle it, even though I read brutal. Like, I read The Terror and absolutely loved it. So I'm not like a baby when it comes to, I'm not sensitive about certain things, about most things, but I am sensitive about certain things. And I don't know, I just got a bad feeling because it was like her and her kid, and she was alone. And her husband was like, blah. And he was gone. Anyway, and then there was like 3 guys who were just trouble and kind of violent. And I thought, oh. So I skipped to like the last page, and I was like, nah, I'm glad. I'm DNFing it. I don't even care. I felt bad about it because of Stephen King's wife, but really, I didn't care. So speaking of Stephen King, I finished Holly. I read this book so quickly. I loved everything about it, except, about the whole vaccine, mixing that in with Trump. Like, that was my only problem with this book. And it was in it all the time, but afterwards it made sense, because Holly was like a hypochondriac, so it kind of made sense how she was about it, but it didn't make sense about how everybody else was that way. It was like, anyway, I'm not going to go into that part because I already talked enough, I felt like, in my last video about this. But I gave it 4 stars because of the whole thing that I didn't like, but otherwise I loved it. I really enjoy Holly's character and reading about her. This is maybe like the 4th or 5th, because he also wrote short stories. If It Bleeds has a short story with Holly in it also, where I'm pretty sure she plays the main part in one of her short stories in If It Bleeds, which I have read. Okay, so let's see, make sure I remember everything here. I started listening, so I have not finished Carmel Pecan Roll Murder because it's so ridiculous, by Joanne Fluke. But I need something ridiculous sometimes when I'm like feeling that heaviness, but I have not. It's like a 7-hour audiobook and I have not even, I don't even think I'm halfway. Maybe I'm halfway. So I started listening to another audiobook when I'm working on my blanket, and it's Share. It's a memoir. I think it's just called Share a Memoir Part 1. And she actually does some of the reading for the book, and then another woman does. And the other woman sounds a lot like her. I think they're close. So it has been very good. I really like Cher's music. I don't know that much about her personally. I mean, I know what everybody seems to know. Like, she was with Sunny, and then she's with... when I listened to Val Kilmer's audiobook, I'm Your Huckleberry, he mentions when he was with Cher. So I'm kind of... And he had only good things to say. Anyway, which is sad that he's passed now. Okay, so that's what I'm listening to. Okay, a book that I'm loving, absolutely loving, and that's The Seekers by John Jakes. I am like halfway through this. This starts out with Abraham Kent. This is the third book in the Kent Chronicle series. May, settle in. Good girl. Okay, now she's cleaning. I'm telling you guys. Anyway, this is the third book in the Kent Chronicle series, family. Okay, so we start out with Abraham Kent and his family. And we knew Pierre from the last book. So, May. I'm just waiting for it to fall. Anyway, so Abraham, he ends up... Oh gosh, this is going to give you spoilers. Shoot. Okay, I'm not going to tell you that. What I'm going to tell you is that, and this is a little spoilery, but not really. So we go to Abraham. He has his life. He does have a son named Jared. So Jared comes back with Abraham, and they live with his brother. They go to his father's house, but his half-brother is there, and he's now an adult because he was gone. He went off to Ohio for a while. And so when they came back, his father passed. And so now we are going to Jared Kent. So I love how these books are. Like, you're like, oh no, I love this character. I want to stay with this character. But when John Jakes lets a character go and moves us along to the next one, we're ready for it. But yeah, oh my gosh. And so he talks about also, so the brother, Gilbert, was trying to send his brother Abraham, who has gone through a ton of stuff and he's really struggling. He wanted to send him. He wrote to Meriwether Lewis, who is getting ready to go on, Lewis and Clark. He's getting ready to go on his, what do you call it, like expedition, the journey, surveying and everything. They're getting ready to go on that. And so they were looking for men to take. And then you have all this other stuff going on. So that made me want to stop and read the Journals of Lewis and Clark, which I have not read yet, but I have on my shelf and I'm really wanting to read. So, but I didn't, I'm reading this. I still have my Zola on my Kindle, but I don't plan to pick that up till the last week. I did start Children of Time, which I am reading this with a group of people. The Futurtarian Fellowship, or however you say it, I don't know. And I don't think anybody has talked about it, which I've only read 20 pages. So it's just like getting me like used to the writing and what's going on. So I have no idea, really. I mean, I do know what has happened in the first 20 pages, but I don't know where this is going exactly or what exactly is going to happen. So I need to put more focus into that, and I probably will once I hear more people talking about it. So one other thing I would like to pick up, which Little Prim is like being so sweet laying here. But anyway, the last thing that I would like to pick up, which this is it just came out of the blue. Not really. I ordered it from the library. So this is the Vicar of Wakefield. If it sounds familiar, it's by Oliver Goldsmith. If it sounds familiar, it's because you read The Terror. And this is one of the books that got mentioned over and over again. It was one of the characters in The Terror's favorite books. And so I had just like opened it, and the introduction, it said, which I just read the first like sentence and was like, oh, this is interesting. This is the introduction. Sir Joshua Reynolds told how he once visited Goldsmith and found the poet kicking a masquerade costume around the floor. The masquerade had never taken place, and Goldsmith had added that he was now trying to get an exercise that he had lavished on a jaunt. It's like, okay, it's so, it's interesting. But it says, yeah, what it does not show is that Goldsmith's apparent affluence had been won through hard work and that the clown was a genius. So, yeah, I don't even know who wrote the introduction. Oh, it's quite a long introduction. Oh, I saw something about Don Quixote. Okay, so oh, it doesn't even tell me. It doesn't like to have it signed. Who wrote the introduction? Edited with an introduction by Stephen Coate. It's C-O-O-T-E. Is that Coate? Coate? Anyway, yeah, I'm interested in why this was his favorite book. It's first published in 1766. So, and the print is tiny, but hopefully I can get to that also and see what the big deal was, why it was that character's favorite, and why Dan Simmons, I don't know if that actually was a real character in real life or if it was a fictional one that Dan Simmons made up. So I should find that out too. Anyway, that is what I have read. That is what I am currently reading and watching and listening to. Let me know what you guys are reading or watching or how you're doing. I've accepted a job offer, and so we're going through the background check and all that, which I'll pass. I'm boring. I don't do anything bad. But I'm doing training for it, so I'm going to try to get registered. So that's what I'm surprised I got as much reading done as I have with doing all those training courses. I have to do 83, and I think I'm on 26, so it's quite a bit. But anyway, everything's in bloom. Is beautiful right now. A little chilly. I wish you could see it. Oh, I was gonna say, like, try to hold her up so you can see her, but okay. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know, and thank you so much for watching.